So I tested the 4-day work week in recruitment and the results absolutely shocked me. Last year, there were 61 companies who participated in a huge 4-day work week trial in the UK, and it was a huge success. So 56 of those 61 companies are continuing with the 4-day work week. That is like a 92% success rate. But, and here's the but, right? If you're in recruitment or sales, like me, you're probably thinking, that's not going to work. That's not going to work for recruitment. Like how it's a full-time gig. People always hammering your phones or whatever. I dismissed it. I thought there's no way in hell that's going to work, right? So rather than just, letting that be and moving on in my life and continuing with my 5 days, I thought maybe I'll trial it. Maybe I should trial the 4-day work week. And for the last 4 months, I've been doing it, the 4-day work week, and the results have They shocked me. They're actually I'm completely shocked by them, and you'll be surprised too. So, today I'm going to go into that 4-day trial. Working 4 days. How did it work? Did it work? What were the results? What did we see coming out of the back of that? So, I just want to start by saying, when I did this, the first thing I looked at was, has the market been consistent, right? So this year, 2024, January to now, which is the end of October, really consistent conditions. No real ups or downs, no peaks or troughs. I know the rest of the market had a few lumps, but for me, it was business as usual. Workflow. There was no real shocks or anything in the sector. So it was actually a pretty good period to test. If you compare the first 6 months of this year to the last 4 months that I've been doing this 4-day work week on, I'm actually 50 grand more. I'm 50 grand up in 4 months than I was for the entire 6 months before. And I'm still going. So, projection wise and looking at my pipeline, I'll do another 100. I'll be 150K up on the previous 6 months. It's a massive improvement. And I'm working less. This is what's blowing my mind. It worked. The long of it is, the short of the long of it is, it worked, right? So if you were like me thinking, what? That would never work for recruitment, I'm telling you it does. And I've gone now and looked at it and gone, okay, what are my findings? Why does this work? So I want to give you guys, what have I got? 5 key observations of why this has been a success, because I want you to understand how it worked, why I think it worked, and then you can work out whether this is for you. I think you'd be silly not to try it, but here it is, right? I think the first thing that it does is it forces you to get all of your work done within 4 days. So I found I was still getting through the same volume of work. I was just getting it done in 4 days, which tells me there was still some inefficiencies in my desk, right? I think that's the first thing it highlights, is that you can still squeeze the output you do now in 5 days into 4. And a lot of you think, well, then you're still doing the same amount of work. Yeah, I am, but I've got a whole nother day free. I've got a 3-day weekend every week, and you don't. So my energy hasn't changed. So I found anyway, getting to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, by Thursday night, I'm pretty buggered, and Friday was always not a wasted day, but the toughest day of the week for me. So I don't feel any different come to the end of Thursday getting all that work done. In fact, I feel energized because I know that I don't have to work Friday. It's actually the opposite effect. So that's the first observation. And I think off the back of that, right, they always say, if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person. But my second observation is that everything I touched tends to be high value stuff. I don't have time to waste, or more importantly, I don't have time to find something to do in. Does that make sense? I'm not ever sitting there twiddling my thumbs going, I'll get to that. I'll have a look at that. Those days or those weeks where you don't get a candidate. So you start to lower your threshold for what quality looks like. I may as well work this one. There's none of that. That stuff goes because I just don't have time to work on that average stuff, because I really want to maximize my 4 days. And when you've only got such a small period of time to do it in, you end up going, well, I'll touch the high value stuff first. I just never get to the lower value stuff. And I think that brings me to my third observation, is that by not spending any time on the average, because I don't have time to do it, it's actually a compounding time saver. So when you have that 5th day and you go, okay, I've looked at all the great candidates, I've looked at all the great jobs, now I'm just going to get to this other stuff. The 50-50 candidate, maybe we work those. That time is in that day that you're interviewing them, packaging them up, getting them out. But you're actually saving all that other time, managing through the process, whatever. Those lower quality candidates typically aren't going to get placed. You know it, right? If you actually look under the hood and look at your deals, those lower quality candidates don't get placed nearly as often as the higher quality ones because not as many people want them. So you're actually like compounding saving of time because you're not touching them in that 5th day and then you're not having to deal with them next week, when you manage them through and whatever. So that was something else I've noticed as well. I also love, my 4th observation is that, and I've talked about this before, is that humans love deadlines. We react very well to deadlines, and in having almost like a mini deadline every week, I think that has kept the momentum going for the entire 4 months. So why it's a deadline is because I actually gave myself a rule when I did this, which was I will not do the 4 days unless I get my full week's worth of work done in those 4 days. So if I get to the end of Thursday and I haven't quite gotten through what I need to do, I will sneak in an hour or two on Friday morning to get it done. And it's usually just like pinging out messages, emails or whatever, just clearing those, just so I feel better going into next week. So there were a couple of hours on a Friday I might work, but I can tell you now, it sure as shit motivated me during the week going, I need to get this done now. You know how you get those Tuesday, Wednesday slumps, getting a bit tired and foggy? I'd go, Brett, snap out of it. You're wasting time. You don't want to be doing this on Friday. So when you kind of hold yourself accountable like that week in, week out, they're like mini deadlines, mini Christmases, mini breaks, mini holiday, like mini sort of like this needs to be done. And I think it's a great way to keep momentum week in, week out. And the last observation really I had, and I think this was not really an observation of what happened, but I think how I helped make it work, which was come Thursday night, everything in my life, it just became about joy. So I love doing touch footy with the boys on a Thursday night. But the issue I had was that the Friday morning, I'd be absolutely belted from it because it's at night. I'd be dehydrated or tired or whatever, and I'd go back and do my working week. So now I get a bit of a sleep in on a Friday. Oh my goodness, it is the best. I can stay out a little bit later. I can hang out, whatever, hang out, have a chat and not be too stressed about getting back in bed so I can go in on Friday. And Friday, I actually plan for joy. Love my kids, but they're at school. So it's actually been a great opportunity to go, hey wife, you're home on a Friday. Let's use that. Like that's our time. Like let's go and have lunch. Every Friday we go and have lunch. We're spending all this good couple of hours, quality time together. If we can't do that, we might go and do something that is entertaining, exciting. It's not a day of chores. I'm not doing. It's just a nice day that I get. It's a free day. It's platform 9 3/4. It's level 7.5 in being John Malkovich. It's just that free little space in your week that you really get to claim as yours. Put a flag in. You've earned it. So I think that last point there and that observation is that for me, I think it worked because, observation 4 there, it's a mini deadline. I really, really, really look forward to Fridays because A, I'm not working, B, it's free time, C, it's full of joy, and it's a really nice part of the week for me. That's it. But man, 4-day work week, I'm proving to you now it works for recruitment. I've been doing it for the last 4 months. And I'm already 50 grand above my entire 6 months prior to that. It's incredible. I mean, I didn't even realize it until now. I did the numbers and went, oh my goodness, I didn't even track it. It wasn't like a terribly conscious thing. I just wanted to keep on track. I strongly recommend you try it yourself. That's all I have time for you today. Like, share, subscribe. It helps us grow. As always, have an amazing day. May all your deals and 4-day work weeks come true.